Hello again from Metro Manila, the Philippines, Southeastern Asia. Tomorrow, on December the 6th, 2017, 100 years will come to pass since the Finnish Parliament approved the Finnish government's Declaration of Independence. I have already at length filmed a video in English about the 100 years of Finnish independence, so I will be brief this time. Finland prepares to celebrate its 100 years of official independence in mixed emotions. On the one hand, Finland is a notably liberal, even libertarian, and as far as its cultural and political elites are concerned, postmodern, tolerant, cosmopolitan or multicultural and international country. On the other hand, there is a growing degree of social inequality and economic, even educational inequality in Finland. While the income gaps in Finland are by no means as large as, for example, in Britain or the United States, let alone the Philippines or other developing countries of Asia or the developing countries of Africa or Latin America or then Oceania, they still are clearly larger than they were in the late 1980s when Finland had a notable period of economic prosperity, although it was fueled by increasing indebtedness and consumption at the expense of rising production. Finland now has about 5.5 million people compared to the approximately 3.1 million people that it had in 1917 when it declared independence. Finland's population, however, is very unequally distributed. The Helsinki metropolitan region alone contains over 1/5 of Finland's population, between 1.2 and 1.4 million people, depending on how they are counted. Educationally, the inequality is seen in the fact that the rich cities and rural towns are able to offer a clearly wider curriculum, especially as far as the elective subjects are concerned, than are the poor cities and rural towns. And then there are nowadays a growing number of more prosperous people's schools, or the schools of the children of more prosperous families, and then poorer families' children's schools. Although it hasn't gone even nearly as far as the virtual income-based educational segregation of the United States, for example. Immigration and the moving of would-be refugees to Finland remain controversial and much debated topics in Finland. Although Finland overall has only maybe 5 or 6%, anyway under 10% foreign-born population, still there are a growing number of Finns who seem to, at least rhetorically, support the demand Finland for the Finns. However, the neighboring Sweden is Finland's western neighbor, and by the way, Finland's former ruler, is a much more diverse country ethnically. That unfortunately also has caused some problems, for example, in education and also in these isolated honor killings where usually, although not exclusively, fathers or brothers of Muslim girls or young women who have decided to date or to live in partnership or common law marriage or even to marry Western boys or men instead of boys or men from their own ethnic group or religion have been killed for dishonoring the family. Whether there have been any honor killings in Finland, I'm not totally sure of, but there may well have been, given the influx of immigrants and would-be refugees from especially Muslim countries of the Middle East or Western Asia. In June 2017, there was a split in the Finnish governing coalition because about one half of the 38 deputies of the populist, national conservative, Eurosceptical, and largely anti-immigrant, or at least immigration skeptical and Muslim critical true Finns decided to leave the party after one of its hardline legislators, Mr. Jussi Halla-aho, known for his Eurosceptic and Islam critical blog posts and other internet messages, had been chosen to replace the longtime leader of the party, Mr. Timo Soini. The new party was named eventually the Blue Future, and it claims to be a nationalist and patriotic party, but more moderate than its mother party, the True Finns. So far, the party has only polled about 2% in the opinion surveys, and it remains to be seen whether it will be another short-term fringe party similar to the Finnish People's Unity Party that split from the Finnish Rural Party in the early 1970s and was disbanded after the 1983 parliamentary elections, despite having changed its name. In 2016, for the first time, the Finnish population did not have a net natural increase. In other words, more people died in Finland during 2016 than were born alive. On the other hand, a record 35,000 people moved to Finland, according to a news broadcast of the Finnish television, which I watched either in April or May 2017 while visiting Finland. A growing number of Finnish Christian churches are evangelizing actively these immigrants, including those who are of Muslim background, and a growing number of those immigrants and refugees and would-be refugees are becoming Christians, which is a good fact to note. Spiritually and religiously, Finland is a diverse and postmodern and, generally speaking, profoundly secularized country. Only something like 8 to 10% of Finns, according to surveys made earlier this century, claim to be born-again Christians who have a personal faith in Jesus. Only about 70% of Finns now, or of Finland's inhabitants nowadays, belong to the national church, or the bigger one of the two national churches, the Finnish Evangelical Lutheran Church. Only a few percent of Finns go to Christian meetings of any kind per year regularly. I mean, those who do that on a weekly basis. On the other hand, special occasions like christenings, or in the free evangelical, Pentecostal and charismatic circles, believers' baptisms, then confirmations, marriages, and funerals attract more people. And then, of course, these season-based church services, especially at Christmas time, to a smaller extent at Easter time. And then special topic services like family masses or family services, um, school, pupils or students services, and so forth. A growing number of Finns, however, do not claim to belong to any organized religious community, and a growing number are seeking fulfillment in their lives through syncretism, combining beliefs from different religions, or New Age, or the occult, and so forth. Educationally, while Finland still has a fairly good educational system, the PISA scores, international PISA scores of student achievement of select grade 9 Finnish students are slightly decreasing or worsening, especially among the boys. And the functional literacy of a growing number of Finnish elementary and junior and senior high school students seems to be growing, and largely their overuse of the social media is being blamed for that. Environmentally, Finland is one of the cleanest Western countries, at least officially. um, Finland does a lot of research in gender equality. Finland is a fairly advanced country, although still there is an income gap of over 10% or even over 15% between the regularly employed Finnish men and women, largely because women dominate those sectors of the employment, such as education, especially grade school education, usually as teachers, but also as educational assistants, and then social work, health, personal services, office work, especially clerical work, that generally speaking are not well paid and are so-called vocational occupations where people go because they have that calling, not in order to make a lot of money. And then men dominate, especially in construction, in transportation, still overall in heavy industries like metal work and mining, and still overall to some extent in electronics and information technology, although a growing number of the technical subjects, including information technologies, students are girls and women, which in the future likely will reduce the income gaps. Well, despite all of its negative features, Finland has many positive ones, and especially since for the last 3 years I have lived in a third world Asian country here in the Philippines, I have come to respect many aspects of Finland, although at least for the time being I'm not leaving anywhere from here. So above all, I wish the 100-year-old Finland and its inhabitants an abundant blessing by God, from whom all the good things come, according to the Epistle of James in the New Testament. And also a very happy celebration of Finland's 100th anniversary as an independent country, and the best of success under God's guidance and plans for your lives. Bye bye.